Let's talk about something fascinating, and maybe a little unsettling. Why we're so often drawn to manipulative people. We've all seen it, right? In movies, in books, and yeah, even in our own lives. There's this strange pull towards people who, let's be honest, might not be great for us. The real question is, why? Let's get into the psychology behind this paradox.
So, let's just get right to the heart of it, shall we? You know they're toxic, you see the red flags, but you can't look away. Why do those anti-heroes and villains on screen feel so much more compelling than the straight-laced good guys? It feels like it makes no sense, but believe me, there are some powerful psychological and even evolutionary reasons for it.
Okay, to really understand this attraction, we first have to define what we're actually talking about. In psychology, there's a specific group of personality traits that sits right at the center of this whole thing. It's called the dark triad.
First up, we've got narcissism, and this is way more than just someone who likes taking selfies. We're talking about a deep, fundamental need for admiration, a powerful belief that they're superior, and a constant drive to be in charge. This comes across as this incredible, almost blinding confidence. It creates what's called a halo effect, where we see that confidence and just assume it means they're super competent and have it all figured out. Next in the triad is Machiavellianism. And yeah, it's named after that Machiavelli. This trait is all about strategic, calculated manipulation. These are the master puppeteers. They tend to see other people as pawns in their game, and they use charm, wit, and deceit as tools to get exactly what they want, all while staying emotionally cool and detached.
And the third corner of the triangle is psychopathy. Now, the key features here are a profound lack of empathy, a love of risk-taking, and this very superficial charm that can be incredibly convincing. It's what allows for impulsive, often antisocial behavior because the normal emotional breaks just aren't there.
So you have these three different traits, but here's the thing. Researchers have found they love to hang out together, and when they do, the dark triad isn't just a list of flaws. Nope, it's a full-blown social strategy, and it's built for one thing, exploiting other people for personal gain. So this brings up a huge question, right? If these traits are so, well, bad, why are they still around? Why hasn't evolution just weeded them out? Well, the evolutionary perspective gives us a pretty compelling, if kind of chilling answer.
It turns out these traits aren't just a bug in our psychological software. You could almost say they're a feature, an adaptation that actually helps with reproduction, but only in a very specific context. They are perfectly designed to fuel a super effective short-term mating strategy.
Just look at how this chart breaks it down. You've got two main ways humans approach reproduction. On one side, there's the long-term game, cooperative, stable, high investment. And on the other side, you've got the short-term game, exploitative, competitive, and super low investment. Well, the dark triad traits are tailor-made for that short-term, quantity over quality playbook.
And you know what? The data backs this up big time. Study after study shows that men who score high on these dark triad traits consistently report having more sexual partners and that they actively seek out casual, no-strings-attached relationships over committed ones.
All right, so how does this exploitative strategy actually turn into something we find attractive? Let's get into the science of what you might call toxic charm. Because it's not just about a pretty face or a clever line. This stuff can tap into our brains and create a response that feels almost like an addiction.
And hey, they've actually tested this. Researchers created fake personality profiles. And guess what? Women consistently rated the characters with dark triad traits as being more attractive. They're picking up on signals like confidence and dominance, for sure. But it's also the unpredictability. That hot and cold behavior creates a powerful psychological hook called intermittent reinforcement. It's like a slot machine. You never know when you'll get the reward, so you keep pulling the lever, getting more and more hooked.
I love how this study frames it. It calls the whole dynamic an evolutionary arms race. Men with these dark triad traits have basically evolved this incredible ability to sell themselves, using all that charm and manipulation to win in the short term. And that leads to this perfect analogy that researchers use. The used car dealer effect. It's that skill of making an amazing first impression, saying all the right things, and presenting this shiny, flawless product, all to hide what's really going on under the hood and close the deal. Okay, now we get to the most important part. This is where we turn the camera around. Because this attraction, it isn't just about their personality, it's just as much about ours. This is where the old saying, like attracts like, really comes into play.
It turns out it's not always about being fooled by charm. Sometimes people are actively drawn to partners who share their own traits, their own preferences for a certain lifestyle, and sometimes it reflects our own unmet needs.
This model here really gets to the core of it. We often chalk up different dating strategies to just men and women being different, but look, this shows that the dark triad personality is a huge predictor all on its own. It's not just about being male or female. If you have these traits, you are much more likely to be playing that short-term game no matter your gender.
And get this, one study came up with a finding that is just, wow. It really hammers home this like attracts like thing. The study found that women who themselves scored high in psychopathy found men with dark triad traits more attractive, and not just for a one-night stand, but as a potential husband.
So what's the big takeaway here? The attraction is often less about the actual person and more about the lifestyle they represent. It might be a shared love for excitement, chaos, and risk, but it can also point to a deeper psychological hole, a need to feel alive through drama, a subconscious urge to fix someone broken, or maybe an attraction to the very qualities we feel are missing in ourselves.
And that really brings us to the final thought. The pull of a manipulative personality, it's often a mirror. It's reflecting something back at us about ourselves. And figuring this out isn't about blaming anyone. It's about looking inward. Because at the end of the day, instead of trying to find a little bit of light in someone else's darkness, the real journey is about learning how to turn on your own.